This is Rogers TV.
Good evening, everybody. How are you doing tonight? It's your boy DC, and this is Out of the Fog on Rogers TV. We're a local matter show that goes right across the province. All the cool kids come by and say hi. Tonight is no exception. So blessed to have Jennifer Thompson, the employee expert, coming through to talk about the work we do together and the work that she loves to do for brands across Atlantic Canada and the people who power them. And then after that, Travis White's going to slink on in, and he's going to hang out with us and talk about his big job with the Atlantic group of companies, the values that he puts forward, and everything that he has to say about regional support in these times. This is Out of the Fog. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back, everybody. This is Out of the Fog, and I have been waiting to get this person on the couch for quite a while, and you're going to find out exactly why right now. Jen, hello.
Why, hello.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Well, I'm a lot better now that I'm hanging out with you. You know? I want to start by letting the viewers at home know that we had known each other in different orbits. You know what it's like in this town, this province. So here's what happened. Ran into Jen, and I knew Jen had a big career in corporate finance on the mainland, but had come home to evolve into more of a natural, holistic career, a wellness-based career. And so ran into her one Saturday morning in Bannerman Park, and she says, hey, I'm getting a vibe. Can I read your cards? And I'm like, sure. And I'm very into that, you know, that spirituality and the cosmic of it all. And so sure enough, she did. Anyway, long story short, she says, you're going to be writing a book, and I see it happening in a cabin in the woods. I say, sure, girl, peace be with, and I'm on my way. Yeah. Well, 3 months later, I ran into her, and she walks right up to me, big smile, warm as always, and says, so? And I looked at her and said, oh my God, I bought a cabin in the woods, and I'm writing a book. And I began to see Jen weekly. Now, some would say that that's the only thing to be said. But when it comes to what your profession is in terms of HR and being an employee expert, that comes in handy. So I know I've hogged all the interview time so far, but I needed to tell everybody at home this reality so they understand who we're hanging out with here today. So I'm gonna ask you, what led you into the work that you do with teams in the professional orbit?
I was actually working with a local company as their operations manager, and through that incredible opportunity, I really fell in love with mentoring employees. I fell in love with recruiting team members and problem solving. It was so different from what I do with my own personal business, that coming into it and realizing how I could almost merge the two fields, because when I'm working with employees and doing development plans with them, that gift comes in handy.
Oh, I'd say.
Because it's a way to kind of see who's really going to be a good fit, see what needs to be shifted. As you know, I'm all about accountability, and I find because of the work I do in my personal life, it comes into handy with teams, because everybody thinks of accountability as this like big scary thing, and it's like hard to take accountability, or so we're told. But if you can approach it from like such a gentle shift and helping people feel safe and heard, what often happens is the issue that they think is the issue isn't actually the issue. and then they come through the other side, and what you end up having is a team that is really peaceful and happy, and everyone gets along, and they all share the same end goal.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it was a happy accident, I guess.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you what, when it comes to the work that you do now with my full team, where I bring you in quarterly to sit with everyone for vibe checks and this and that, and then afterwards you don't come back to me and talk about the intimate details of what you talk about with them. It's never that. But it's always energies that help me to be a better leader by asking me questions about, you know, when it comes to so-and-so, have you thought about this? Or I wonder if this could be helpful based on this and that. And I find that to be such a gift for someone like me, who is such a busy business owner, who is racing from meeting to to-do to email to phone call all day long. And it's so ironic that the people who power the brands that we dedicate ourselves to, that we often end up having the least amount of time in our calendar to create space for them to feel heard and seen.
Yeah.
Let alone to have a proactive lens on how we can show up better ourselves, and also how they can show up better as well.
Yeah. And one of the beautiful things I've found, even like with you, is you have such an awareness of yourself and of the space around you. And I think when you're bringing someone in to work with you in any capacity, that's so important. So it's just a beautiful situation all around, you know? It's such a gift.
Well, I'll tell you what, don't get it twisted, folks. I could be Pee Wee Herman over here, but Gordon Ramsay over here at the next minute. So, like, you know, don't mess with me, right? So I'll tell you what, having someone like you that can help me create space to communicate my struggles, shall we say, to keep that energy away from the people who I need to feel the support and the, you know, all the vibes that I want them to feel over there. I think that I've come a long way, and a few people who are probably working for me in past eras watching this show now are like, oh yeah, Donnie's woke now, is he? And I'm like, yes, I am.
I think you are.
Well, we're all trying.
Yeah.
Brene Brown is one of my heroes, as you know,
Yeah.
and her famous expression, which is so apt to this conversation, is I'm not here to be right, I'm here to get it right.
Yeah.
And I think we all live through the era as leaders, whether you're an owner or a manager or a mainline employee, and we all, you know, walk into our workplace with different realities that are maybe at times difficult or hard to reconcile with the team that you're doing the work with.
Yeah.
So how do you approach situations where, you know, someone calls you up and wants to bring you in to have a conversation around the strengths and weaknesses of what's going on? How do you manage a conversation like that? Because walking into a workplace is probably different every time, or is it at its peak the exact same problem?
I think there's an umbrella of different situations that play out. There's common themes. But anytime I walk into a new environment, for me, it's never about being right, it's about finding resolution. And when I'm working with different leaders and owners and employees, that is always like my driving focus. It is not about being right, it's about finding a resolution. And when you go in, as soon as that energy shifts and you want to be right, then you're not in a space where you want to take accountability, you're not really open to growth. So I go into every space with that mindset, and what that allows me to do is, because everyone views situations differently, and if I can sit there and just be an open ear to hear everything that's coming to me, and then almost find the underlying theme, because there's always an underlying theme. And then from there, you're able to take that forward and be like, this is what I'm finding. Here are some solutions. Here are some suggestions. But it is really about recognizing that each business is its own existing thing. It has its own energies around it, especially if it's, there's maybe between like 5 and 25 employees, because then it's very much, the owners tend to be very hands-on, so it like takes their energy on. So the more that you can kind of lean into that and realize that there's nothing cookie cutter about the solutions you bring forward. It has to be individualized to each organization that you enter into, and understanding what their end goal is, which then helps facilitate that.
I totally see that. I didn't see it at first. I'm a real Johnny-come-lately to a lot of what you have helped me wrap my head around. And, you know, I'm very lucky to have folks like you, and as are my team, to really help create space for all of the conversations, because some of them have nothing to do with work at all. And yet we have to go to work every day. And so how do we be our best selves there while negotiating the realities of everything happening outside and inside the work day? So I'll ask you a final question.
Okay.
When you look at what you do for business owners in Atlantic Canada, what is your goal and what is your hope for the work that you do and take so seriously?
I would have to say my hope is that business owners find peace. I hope that their employees feel supported and safe in coming forward, and that this toxic workplace energy that we've seen in the past shifts into a place where people actually enjoy going to work because they know that their employer cares about them.
Well said and well timed. So I'll see you next Wednesday at 6?
Yes.
If you see two people walking and one person being like this, it's me talking to her in our weekly walk. So thank you so much for coming on the show. Will you come back?
Yes, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure as always.
I love it. Jen Thompson, the employee expert. Check her out online, wheel her in, and watch her work her magic for you and the people who power the brands that you love. This is Out of the Fog. We'll be right back after this break.
Your opinion matters, and we want to hear from you. Get in touch with us using our viewer feedback line, your direct connection to shaping the shows you love. It's easy. Just grab your phone, scan the QR code on your screen, and take our quick survey. Share your thoughts, and let's make your viewing experience even better.
You're watching Rogers TV St. John's.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Out of the Fog, and let me tell you what, every time I walk into the Business Association of Newfoundland and Labrador's luncheons, there is a gentleman with a big smile who talks softly but carries a big stick. He is the CEO of a big company, and I'm going to have Travis White tell you all about it. Travis, what's going on?
How are you, my friend?
So glad to see you.
You too. It's been a while since we talked at the last business association, but that's been a pleasurable experience for me, and working with you in that association was amazing.
Say no more.
But yeah, the Atlantic Group of Companies is all throughout the Maritimes. We have 8 locations. One here in Newfoundland, known as North Shore Roofing.
That's right.
And we have 7 others throughout the Maritimes, and a heavy player in the commercial industrial construction market.
Yes, you are.
And it's a very exciting time.
Oh, I believe that. And first of all, may I give you your flowers as a past president of the association. Leadership is, comes handy, and that's why the CEO role is now yours. You're a traveling man as well.
I am. While I can't say enough about our team that we've compiled over the last couple of years, and we've made major internal changes at the company, it still necessitates me getting that hands-on, I guess, approach to either clients or customers or new opportunities that arise in the Maritimes.
Well, as someone who travels around often myself, it's a gift to be able to visit our neighbors in the other provinces, and I often think, wouldn't it be amazing if we all thought more as a region versus 4 provinces? I wonder if you've ever had that thought.
Absolutely, my friend. Before I actually came into the role that I'm in right now, I was actually in business development, which was a new manifestation for me. I was always enjoyed the element of creating relationships and partnerships with different companies and clients, but what I found was Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and PEI, not so dissimilar to Newfoundland.
Not at all.
We all have the same problems, we all deal with the same issues, but if we work together collaboratively on issues and collaboratively on finding solutions, the better off we all are.
I agree. Jerry Pond is a major investor and a powerful man out of New Brunswick. And I had a conversation with him years ago. Imagine if we could create an Atlantic Canadian logo versus the 4 separate ones that we have. What visual board could that be to bring us all even further together? Interesting conversation that just drummed up in my memory.
So you're absolutely right. It echoes some of the things that are happening right now. If you talk specifically about the construction sector, what a lot of people probably don't know is that apprentices in the Red Seal training program, how it's manifested itself in the 4 Atlantic provinces is tops in Canada. And this Red Seal program that's heavily used in construction is the envy of the world.
Wow.
So if you can imagine a province like Newfoundland and Labrador who's taking a leading role in the Red Seal program of our skilled tradespersons, and their relationships with our maritime partners, the rest of Canada looking at us going, you guys have got something great going on there. Then we've got interest from Europe, South America, Australia. How are you guys doing so well in Canada? So we've got to pat ourselves on the back and not just follow. We can do it here in the Maritimes. We can be leaders.
Well, it sounds like with folks like you at the helm, that's on its way to becoming a real thing.
It does take energy and it does take effort. I've been in this industry now for about 20 years, and I can literally see the change. I think when I began, we were kind of viewed as a contractor, and that came almost in a pejorative sense.
Sure.
Now it's much more about a client-centric focus and ensuring that you're doing right by your client and your customer, and not merely just a transactional agreement. I give you this for this amount of dollars. And that's one of the keys of the success, I guess, recently, especially in the last 3 years from Atlantic. We've taken it from a company where often it was transactional. Now we've come out of our silos in all 8 divisions, and we work together as a team, gaining from that synergy. And we've also focused on people who care. And I don't mean that as a sales pitch and a line, as a tagline at the end of a marketing pitch. It's genuinely our employees really care about the product that they're putting out and how they're treating their customers. Very important. We hire by that.
Well, that's really important, and it's interesting because, you know, that's an attitude that can be taught, but amazing when it comes natural.
Absolutely. So just in the transition that we've had in the last 3 years, when you look at your team, and I see my job right now as the CEO, is that when I looked at this type of work 20 years ago was a very hierarchical nature. It was the top-down, driven down. Now I look at it as my job is to make my team successful. Full-time job. When I go in every morning, it's if I make my team successful, then my team is successful. The company is successful, sorry.
Sure.
And they learn, they grow, they take home all that positive nature, right? So we've had people drop off our team who didn't fit the mold. But when you have a group of people all pointing in the same direction, who all care about what they're doing, then you can make some magic happen.
I'll tell you what, anyone watching this interview is saying that guy shows up and he's there to get it right. And I think that is a very humble, and you don't hear many CEOs roll up into a conversation with that level of, I'm here to make my team successful. And I think a lot of folks would agree that, you know, when you think of CEOs and big companies like the one, you know, the Atlantic Group of companies, sometimes you can assume there's going to be this hierarchy, and you're going to assume that it's all about leader up here and the worker down here, but that's the opposite of what you're saying today, and that's a very fresh and progressive way to do business.
Complete inversion. I'm very fortunate in that the Atlantic Group as a whole was sold about a year ago, and the new owner from Moncton actually has a very enlightened view about how a company should run, and he's given me the reins to do it. But it's all predicated on the same principles, which are and values, which is, you know, our teamwork, our core values in caring about our client. When we go in every morning and we open the door with the mindset of making our employees' lives better, free of conflict, or if there is conflict, being able to deal with it in a mature, easygoing fashion, tackle the issue, not the person. Then people go home at the end of the day feeling great about it and willing to come back to work again the next day, and they ask their friends to come work for the company. So it's been great.
That's success.
Yeah.
In our final minute of hang here, you know, with so many large scale and I'd say smaller scale, depending on the nature of the project and the opportunity that comes to the Atlantic group of companies, has it ever been more of an important time to be supportive of our region and our country? A high-level question, as to not be controversial, but absolutely, you see what I'm saying here. So what do you say to that?
Absolutely. It's a very key time to be supportive of our regional market. We've done a very good job in caring for our clients, but at the same time, we all know the predominant stories on the news right now. How we look after each other, how we support one another becomes key. If you look after your local purveyors, your local merchants, your local business people, that comes back to you tenfold. Putting all of our eggs in one basket south of the border is, as we can see right now, rather problematic. While we as Canadians are doing a great job, I'm seeing all the social media where people are elbows up and helping one another. We have to continue that. We have to look after each other.
Yep, no, I agree with you. So, you know, I'm very appreciative to have you come here, busy as you are, traveling man as you are, all the hats you wear as a community supporter, a family man, and the CEO of Atlantic Group of Companies. Will you come back and keep us in the loop about your success as it unfolds?
Anytime, my friend, that you would like for me to come back, I will be here.
I love to hear it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my friend.
Viewers, Atlantic Group of Companies in the industrial space, a fresh perspective, relationship forward, team-centric, and regional support. That's what we love to see. This is Out of the Fog. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back, everybody. This is Out of the Fog, and as huge supporters of Music NL here at Rogers, I've been very lucky to meet a very fast upcoming artist that we love, Summer Bennett. And right about now, I'm going to throw to a little video so you can check her out yourself.
I'm like, us, we are madly in love. You're just a phase that I'm going through. I'm young, so that's what I'm bound to do. I am toxic 'cause I am obsessed, losing all common sense, and they're like, oh, oh. You're just a phase that I'm going through, and in just 1 week I'll be over you. I am poison 'cause I am an addict, the peak of my madness. I'm like, oh, oh. I idolize, I objectify, I dehumanize, oh, I obligate, I manipulate, inappropriate, oh, and you're high off the drug. Is it normal for us to fake all this love? You're just a phase that I'm going through. I'm young, so that's what I'm bound to do. I am toxic 'cause I am obsessed, losing all common sense, and they're like, oh, oh. You're just a phase that I'm going through, and in just 1 week I'll be over you. I am poison 'cause I am an addict, the peak of my madness. I'm like, oh, oh. It's just a phase. It's just a phase. It's just a phase.
Great job, Summer. Love the video. And let me tell you viewers at home that the ECMAs is coming through in May. We're going to be hot on the red carpet because Rogers is a major sponsor of that event, and we can't wait to have you tune in and see us doing our thing, hobnobbing with all the artists and getting ready to celebrate the incredible music of Canada in our Atlantic provinces. Thank you so much for Travis White coming through. Thank you so much to Jen, the employee expert, or as I call her, the employee whisperer. Out of the Fog every week on Rogers TV. Thanks to the staff and the volunteers, and we'll see you next time.
This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
We want to hear from you. Provide feedback on this show or find out how you can get involved. Call, email us, or scan the QR code to take our quick survey.
Feeling lost?
Oh my God.
Discovery has what you've been searching for.
I found something.
Conquer the high seas with deadliest catch and harpoon hunters.
I'm doing this for the last 500 years.
Investigate the clues with Expedition X.
There are things out there that we don't understand.
Go off trail and off grid with Homestead Rescue. Or treasure hunt with Gold Rush.
It's not for the faint of heart.
And get back to nature with Naked and Afraid. The Discovery Channel, now in free preview.
I was born and raised in Musqueam First Nation territory by my mother, who spoke Hunkaminam to me. As a child, I ceased using my mother tongue, as to use any language other than English was considered not being Canadian, so I was told. The old people came to me in a dream and reminded me of who I am and where I come from. I have reawakened. My roots are strong, and I'm no longer a silent speaker. My language tells me where I am from. It defines me and guides me to teach others to learn and understand our culture and traditions. A gift for those in the present and the unborn generations. What was lost is found. What was asleep has awakened. My blood is here, and I am complete. I have returned home.
We're in for something special. The best of the best. It's showtime, and away we go. We're going to drop the gloves right away.
The rivalry heated up. That was the greatest start to a hockey game.